In the final stretch of this election, Donald Trump is going city to city, surprise, surprise, not paying his bills, insulting the cities and insulting the people in the crowd. Not to mention, if you saw our earlier reporting over the weekend, Donald Trump is also stranding his crowds without transportation, apparently not booking transportation to leave the venues and trapping them all throughout the night in these locations. But take a look. Let's focus here on Donald Trump not making payments to the cities and stiffing them on the bills, because when he goes in these events and he does the venues and he uses all of the local police forces for the big show of authoritarian force like he likes to do, you're supposed to pay back the cities. Here's the NBC report out. Cities seek more than $750,000 in unpaid bills for Trump campaign events. Since 2016, at least 4 cities and a county are still waiting to be reimbursed for costs associated with local law enforcement and first responders during Trump visits. And just think about that. Like, yes, $750,000 is a lot of money, but in the swing of things, with the money that Donald Trump's raised and the $60, $70, $80, $100 million he's paid on legal fees, you have to wonder, why not just pay the cities back? Why not pay the workers? Why not pay the contractors? Because Donald Trump is a psychopath and he gets joy. I mean this sincerely, clinically. He gets joy out of stiffing workers and he gets off on it, screwing people off. That brings him happiness, knowing that people are suffering and they have to go to him and beg for a check. He wants people to beg so he can say no. And that's why he talks about begging like a dog, because for him, it's about power and he likes bringing people down like that. Take a look. Former President Donald Trump held a third rally last month in Erie, Pennsylvania, which sits in the northwest corner of a swing state that could decide who wins the White House. Like the 2 other times Trump has been to Erie to rev up his supporters, he left without paying the bill. City officials haven't yet tallied up what Trump campaign owes Erie for public safety costs for his most recent rally in September, but according to a city official, Trump owes the city more than $40,000 for the rallies he held there in 2018 and 2023. It's not the only city that Donald Trump owes money to, and again, he owes the money for his most recent event. Including Erie, 4 cities and a county confirmed that they owe money. The price tag is over $750,000. Reached for comment, a Trump campaign official said in a text message that questions related to local law enforcement and first responder costs should be directed to Secret Service. Blame the Secret Service for it. That's what they're doing. You have at least 2 municipalities seeking reimbursements, said that they didn't have formal agreements, but that's what you're supposed to do. The agreement doesn't have to be formal. When you use the resources, you pay it. When you need an ambulance, when you need medical services, you don't go, oh, did I have a formal agreement in place before utilizing city services? No, you get a bill for those things and you've got to pay those things. It goes on to talk about some of these areas. El Paso, Texas is seeking reimbursement of more than $569,000. You have Spokane, Washington, $65,000. You have Missoula County, Montana, at least $13,000. Mesa, Arizona, about $65,000. And by the way, I'm sure there are dozens of other cities that just didn't go on the record, but it isn't unique to these, right? I'm sure every single city that Donald Trump goes to has this issue, and maybe they're just afraid to talk about it to the press or whatever, but this is systemic. This is who he is. By the way, you know who said this is who he is back in 2016? Before she's Miss Alternative Facts, Kellyanne Conway. And she says, Donald Trump, that's what he does. The guy's known for stiffing people. Here, play the clip.
He says he's for the little guy, but he's actually built a lot of his businesses on the backs of the little guy. And he's a lot of little guys through eminent domain or through not paying contractors after you've built something. The little guys have, suffered.
And so in addition to stiffing the cities, Donald Trump also brags about stiffing the workers and not paying the workers. For example, one of the common things we see in his speeches is he'll talk about not paying the workers, and he'll say, oh, well, the microphone's not working. I'm not going to pay you. Here, play the clip.
But Americans are not struggling. You know, this is the worst platform. Who put this stage up here? This is the worst. The frickin' place is falling down. I notice it keeps tilting further left. Like too many other things. What a crappy contractor this was. No, it's true. You know, I'm known as being a pretty tough negotiator, and sometimes I get a bad rep. A contractor does a bad job. I met a lot of great contractors, but he does a bad job, I don't pay him.
And here's a video of Donald Trump saying how he doesn't pay overtime and that he makes sure he stiffs workers on overtime pay. Just think about this. He has people behind him who are wearing. Now we know that the people who Donald Trump dresses up in union workers for Trump or firefighters for Trump aren't actually firefighters or unions or auto workers. At least in the recent reporting that we know of, those people have been exposed by local media as actually not union workers and not auto worker union workers and not firefighters. It's kind of stolen valor stuff that Donald Trump's doing over and again. But Donald Trump will say, I will not pay overtime. I will stiff them. And he like brags about it in his speech. Here, play the clip.
A lot of people don't give. I know a lot about overtime. I'd hated to give overtime. I hated it. I'd get other people. I shouldn't say this, but I'd get other people in. I wouldn't pay. I hated. This is going to lead to a...
Today's episode is brought to you by Ollie. Clean, fresh nutrition your dog needs in 5 flavors they'll absolutely flip over. Feeding your dog real whole foods with minimal processing is one of the best choices you can make for their health. A whole fresh food diet has been proven to extend your dog's life by 2.5 years. Who wouldn't want more time with their best friend? Ollie's recipes have no harmful fillers, no preservatives, and are made in U.S. kitchens with ingredients sourced from trusted growers and producers around the world. And because Ollie's meals are gently cooked, they don't need preservatives. It's fresh, real food. With protein-first recipes like fresh beef with sweet potatoes, fresh turkey with blueberries, and fresh lamb with cranberries, Ollie might just have your dog eating better than you. Here's how it works. Take a 30-second quiz about your dog on Ollie's website, and they'll create a customized meal plan based on your dog's specific needs. Ollie then sends your dog starter box with 2 weeks worth of meals, plus a guide on how to transition them over. You could even choose from 3 meal plans to fit your dog's diet. And can I be real with you for a second? My dog Mochi is the best. She's the sweetest, most playful, loving Shih Tzu in the world. She's also one of the most stubborn eaters in the world. And if the food I give her isn't up to her standards, she lets me know. So anytime I introduce something new to her, it's the ultimate test. Since I've been giving her Ollie, she's been licking the bowl clean. I've been giving her the chicken dish with carrots and the lamb with cranberries, and she absolutely loves it. And right now, Ollie is offering an amazing deal. 60% off your first box of meals when you subscribe. Just head to Ollie.com, tell them about your dog, and use the code Meidas to get 60% off your first box. That's OLLIE.com, promo code Meidas, MEIDAS. They even offer a clean bowl guarantee, so if you're not satisfied, you get your money back.
You have to wonder sometimes the pathology of a Trump supporter. You're clapping while the guy is saying that he's going to stiff you and not pay you for your hard work, and you like that? You must just like being treated like absolute crap. Let me show you, though, Donald Trump's long history of not paying contractors. So here's an individual that has gone viral on TikTok, and here she talks about, someone goes, what did Trump do to you? There are thousands of stories like this. Here, play her clip.
The job, passed inspection, and was the only one that passed the inspection the first time, every time. And once he billed Trump for the money Trump said that he was going to give him, never heard from Trump again. My dad tried over a course of 5 years to get his money back, and Trump ended up trying to sue him for harassment. And that ruined my family because we ended up homeless. My mom ended up being a drug addict. She had to go into rehab. My dad could never catch his footing again. Us kids were just on our own by the time we were teenagers. And Trump never cared. He never cared. So yeah, that's what Trump did to me.
And here's another story right here. Trump screwing a lot of contractors by not paying them. Trump is a con man his whole life. Here, play this other story.
He put so many good contractors out of business.
I'm running to give back to this country which has been so very good to me.
It was one of those things. It's like, it's Donald Trump. You know, what could go wrong?
Stephen Jenkins and his sister Beth Rosser are second-generation owners of Triad Building Specialties, a business built by their father, Forrest. When Trump's Taj Mahal began construction, Triad won the bid to install every toilet partition inside the casino's bathrooms. It was the largest contract their family business had ever landed.
We bill $100,000, $150,000 a month. That's a really good month for us. And this was almost $300,000 in one contract. Everyone was, it was a big job. It was great.
But as Triad's workers wrapped up the project, talk started swirling that contractors weren't getting paid. When the Taj Mahal filed for bankruptcy in 1991, Triad was left with this $231,000 claim in court. They say they ended up with a payout of just $70,000.
It's hard for me to talk about it, but he wanted all four of us to work.
Jenkins gets emotional when he remembers how their father struggled to keep the business standing.
He was distraught. It was, he's watching something that he built his whole life start to slip through his fingers.
A generous loan, they say, saved the Pennsylvania company.
He didn't go to a bank for the loan. He borrowed it off of a friend.
Here is a union worker who's talking about how he doesn't support Trump because he knows that Trump's full of crap and Trump doesn't pay people. Trump has done this to thousands of people, not paying contractors, workers, dry cleaners, landscaping, window washers. Here, play the clip.
Election year, it's a huge election. We got a polarizing figure in Donald Trump. This guy's claims to be for the working class, but he's never proved that. What are your thoughts on him and, what he's been saying about being for the working men and women in this country?
No, history speaks for itself. This man's never been for the working man, okay? Or woman there, Jimmy. So, when this guy was a builder in New York City, okay, where he cut his teeth, he ripped off every tradesperson that he could. He ripped off every contractor he could. He put more small businesses out than any government body would ever be able to do. And when he was a president and he was elected the first term, building trades had him come to D.C. He spoke at the NAV2 conference. I was there. He promised us that he was going to be a building president. He was going to build buildings and he was going to use our people to build them. He told us that he was going to have an infrastructure bill done by Tuesday. He said he was going to help some of these pension plans be fixed by Wednesday. Well, you know what? Just like all of his other promises to his supporters, he didn't deliver to us either, okay? So you can sit here and you can go off of passion, you can go off of promises, you can go off of broken dreams, or you can stick with who's going to deliver. And that's going to be Kamala Harris and the Joe Biden. They gave us an infrastructure bill. They gave us the Chip and Science Act. They gave us the American Rescue Plan. Checkbox 1, 2, and 3. They got us working. They fixed the pension and they want our people to go to work. Vote for your paycheck.
And here's what Mark Cuban had to say about that as well. This is well known. Here, play this clip.
Look, here's something that just astonished me. When he was going through his trials in New York for misleading on his loan forms, right? During one of the trials, Michael Cohen got up there to testify. And he testified about how Donald Trump asked him to short pay vendors. And he was proud of the fact that he did it for Mr. Trump, as he called him, right? I don't know why, but I expected, how he would hold a little impromptu press conference after each day of the trial. For some reason, I thought he would come out and say, no, I never asked him to short pay vendors, right? Didn't say a word about it. Probably the worst thing you could say about a business person is he short pays his vendors. He doesn't pay what he owes. That is the ultimate arbiter of trust that you have with any business person. Do they pay you when you do work for them, yes or no? He was proud of the fact, didn't question it at all. When you rip off hardworking Americans, you are not qualified to be president of the United States of America.
Here's Donald Trump trashing the people of Detroit and saying that if Vice President Kamala Harris were to win, the country's going to be really bad like Detroit. And he's saying this at the Detroit Economic Club. Here, play this clip.
I don't think anything that we're talking about today is high on our list. The whole country is going to be like, you want to know the truth? It'll be like Detroit. Our whole country will end up being like Detroit if she's your president. You're going to have a mess on your hands.
And finally, I may have shown you this video. You may have seen it before. But this is a few minutes, this story. But watch as this individual tells this story about Donald Trump and how Donald Trump screwed over his friend who ultimately unalived himself because of what Donald Trump did to him. Play this clip.
I own a company that works with a lot of contractors. do estimates and whatnot for contractors. A lot of other support for other folks in the industry, but that's enough said. Anyway, what happened was a buddy of mine that was a contractor up in New Jersey called me up one day and said, hey man, I got this opportunity to do this business with Trump. And it's huge. And I think I'm going to do it. And I said, well, I get that you're going to do it, but it might be in your best interest to think that through, because, you know, the honest truth is that dog bites. And he said, yeah, I understand, but I mean, I'm gonna write a tight contract and blah, 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 you know? So he takes the gig. And he tells me later he's having a little bit of problems getting paid. Fast forward 3.5 years. He still hasn't been paid his $3.5 million. He's been worn down pretty awfully. And Trump's attorneys said that they would pay him $1.2 million. And that was it. He took the $1.2 million. The day that showed up as certified funds, he took the title to every truck he owned. He owned a pretty decent sized company. He took a bill of sale for a bunch of other equipment, generators, arc welders, all kinds of stuff. Ladders, you name it. Jib crane. He went to another place and he sold all of that and walked out with certified funds. He went to the bank. He deposited those funds into the bank. Then he gave a list of amounts and people and companies that he needed to cut checks to. And they cut certified funds to all those individuals. He took those checks, he went down to the post office, he individually sent every one of them out by express mail. And then he went home and he blew his brains out.
That's who Donald Trump is, and this is what Donald Trump is doing the final week or final weeks before Election Day. I just wanted to bring it to your attention. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 4 million subscribers together. Thanks for watching.
Love this video? Make sure you stay up to date on the latest breaking news and all things Meidas by signing up to the MeidasTouch newsletter at MeidasTouch.com/newsletter.